WAC IP I Geek Day. This reminds me of our Lakota story about the first WAC IP. Our people in the buffalo have the same ancestors, the Bideo Yate, who are the creators to be the servants to the great mystery, which is the spiritual essence we call Wankantanka. One day, a great bear named Hunump was pretending to sleep outside, where Wankantanka was having a meeting. In this way, Hunump was able to learn the sacred Lakota language, as well as all of the ceremonies of Wankantanka. Then Hunump taught these songs and dances to Tatanka, who at the time became the chief of Petio Yate. He also taught Tatanka how to make drums and rattles. Hunump then instructed Tatanka to teach the Peteo Yate all these things, and that when they learned them, they should hold their first WAC IP. So Tatanka taught his people all of what Hunump taught him, about these drums, rattles, songs, and dances. Then they held their first WAC IP, or powwow. Singing and dancing are an important part of socializing and feasting. They are also part of protocol for welcoming and hosting guests. This reminds me of the story of how the first song and dance societies came to be. These 7 song and dance societies are the foundation of Dakota and Lakota traditional governance. With the passage of time, additional societies were made for men and for some women. Among them, the Prairie Chicken Society, the Bravehearts, was made up of warriors who had proven themselves and were responsible for enforcing the decisions made by chiefs. The Prairie Chicken dance was revitalized and today is one of the most popular dance styles for males. In some communities, the society is being revived to honor veterans and soldiers. They had braids of sweetgrass tucked in their belts. The braids of sweetgrass represented enemy scalps Because of the birds of sweetgrass, some of our people call this society the Pejiwa Chipi Okola Gichie, or Grass Dance Society. There were 7 sets of songs for the Omaha dance, including those for the opening feast. Some songs were for general dancing, in which men dance in their roach headdresses to represent 2 warriors in battle. Older men who were seasoned warriors had stuck the enemy sang songs using the big drum. The Hoka Wichasha, or songmaster for the society, took care of the society's drum. It was believed the drum would be in sync with the heartbeat of Mother Earth. Midway through the evening, the leaders of the society would do the crow belt dance. When finished, the 2 head officers put the crow belt bustles on and performed a mock battle. The drum is not just a musical instrument. To the Lakota, Dakota, and Nakota people, the drum has a life of its own. A naming ceremony is done to bless it and give it an identity before it is used. Therefore, it is treated as a living entity that is under the care of a drum keeper who is responsible for it. Periodic feasts are given its honor, and tobacco and prayers are offered to it before playing, and special songs are composed for it. The drum is the heartbeat of Mother Earth and calls the spirits and nations together. We believe the drum helps us bring the physical and mental side of a person back in touch with its spiritual side. The drum is used to bring balance and renewal to the person through participation in dancing, singing, or listening to the heartbeat. The drum is also key in healing families and communities and further in uniting nations. 2020, an Ojibwe family used the big drum to do a healing dance for a young girl who was very ill. Thus, the jingle dress dance is considered a healing dance, which is a sacred obligation to which is carried by a woman who wear this dress. Jingle dress dancers are often called upon to dance for the sick or injured community members or help families who are grieving. The metal cones that adorn this dress were originally made from snuff tin lids and created a beautiful sound when the dancer is moving. Spiritual power imitates the sound of the cones that sing out to the spirits as the dancer moves in time with the drum. Some say it sounds like raindrops falling in the sink.
The missionaries and sometimes the Indian agents tried to encourage people to take up square dancing and other social dances. Indigenous people loved song and dance, so it was not hard to get them interested. Often dances were held in someone's home or barn. This is especially true in the northern reserves. They set up a barn dance using the drum instead of a band. Most Indian agents didn't have a problem with it. This reminds me of the story of how our people got the Gohomni dance. When the singers hit down beats, they turn round, then continue to dance. While they're turning around, the man hollered Gohomni, which means turn around. The other dancers joined in, and for the rest of the evening, everyone danced the Gohomni.
Although dancing was banned, there were many requests from bordering reserves to have First Nation dancers perform their annual exhibitions, rodeos, and sports days. When requested to perform, my grandfather said they faced a dilemma of figuring out what songs and dances that have the fewest ceremonial limitations and could be shared openly with the public. The grass dance, or Omaha dance, had the least ceremonial aspects and had dancers to tell their story in spoken word and strut their stuff by demonstrating their feats of valor through dance. The organizers who were hiring dancers wanted dancers to fit their vision of fierce warriors, but also wanted to showcase the whole family. To dress themselves up, the males added more bustles, breastplates, dance sticks, and other items. The way they dress now is called men's traditional style. The females wore their best buckskin or trade cloth dresses when dancing to support their male relatives. They danced stationarily, slightly bending their knees and moving up and down in beat with the drum while slowly moving their feet. Females who lost a husband or brother in battle raised their fans during the downbeats and gave a lili to honor them. In the 1870s, the Wild West shows were traveling performances in the United States and Europe. A typical performance was made up of a series of separate, unrelated acts grouped together on a common bill. The shows began as a theoretical stage and evolved into open-air shows that had cowboys, First Nations people, Army Scouts, outlaws, and wild animals that existed in America's West. The shows consisted of reenactments of history combined with displays of showmanship, sharpshooting, hunts, racing, or rodeo-style events. On the downside of Wild West shows, it helped romanticize and stereotype the image of First Nations people. Wild West show promoters wanted shows to showcase the family, but also wanted to feature the fearsome warriors. They wanted performances that kept the audience spellbound and enthused throughout the show. Thus, they went out and found acts that they wanted to feature, such as hoop dancing, dancing with fire, and the horsetail dance that they had First Nations dancers learn to perform in their shows. The men's fancy dance, with all of its acrobatics, became the most popular dances to perform. World War I and World War II posed another dilemma. First Nations members wanted to volunteer to serve the other Canadians. The grass dancers were called upon to bless the dancing arena and, if outdoors, flatten the grass. During World War II, there were many who went and many who returned, so each community developed their own way of formatting for sending off a soldier, welcoming back a soldier, and the return of a falling soldier. In many communities, they became the basis of the future community powwows. The honor displayed to the veterans is a reflection of the value placed on the people who provided a service. The veterans and their willingness to give their life in service of others merit our highest respect. Songs and dances were performed for each direction while prayers were being said. At some powwows, they still open the powwow with grass flattening ceremony. To empathize that look of glass blowing in the wind, they attached a row of ribbon, yarn, or even rags. They wore roach spreaders that dangled and bounced when the dancer moves. The style of a dress became known as the Northern grass dance style or Northern style. In 1952, the Standing Buffalo First Nation hosted the first legal powwow in Saskatchewan. To have a powwow, you need a place for water and outhouses. You need an announcer, arena director, and drumkeeper. You need food to feed the people and some cash to help those who travel the distance. Individual families and the community in general helped to work together annually to host a powwow. Powwow is an ongoing evolution just like creation. It is dynamic each year, it changes. Some things fade out, others transform, and new things evolve. From what happened thus far, you should be able to identify what a powwow is and its dynamics. It has gone through many changes. One of the changes that happened is women decided no longer they wanted to show their modest and dignified dance on the sidelines. They put their shawls around their shoulders and danced clockwise around the dancing arena. In the Lakota culture, the butterfly symbolizes the freedom to transform until we find balance. When we first start dancing fancy, it is often said the women fancy dancers shared the most qualities with the butterfly and danced in this manner to support the family. Contemporary powwow has been a place to celebrate the gift of life and to give thanks for many blessings we receive individually and as a group. It has been a common denominator drawing people, First Nations and non-First Nations, together to celebrate and learn from one another and unite together to work on causes. Powwow has helped many Indigenous people to feel proud of who they are, has motivated them to learn their language, culture, and history. It also motivated non-Indigenous people to learn about it as well. The eagle, who is the Creator's messenger, will carry our prayers and thanksgiving for renewal to the Creator.